You wake up at 6:00 a.m. Your phone alarm is the cheapest model the carrier offered 3 years ago. You check the hidden cash in the freezer before your feet touch the floor. There is $247 left until the next drop 4 days away. The math does not work. You brush your teeth with a toothbrush used longer than recommended. You live in a one-bedroom apartment on the third floor of a building that smells like cooking and faint chemicals. The walls are thin. You hear the neighbor's television and wonder if they hear the low voices. When the crew counts product, the rent went up again. Your street income did not. Your car is 12 years old with the check engine light on for 8 months. You keep driving because a mechanic visit means choosing between diagnosis and replacing seized product. You work at a warehouse or retail store during the day as cover. You clock in and out. Your lunch is exactly 30 minutes. You have not had a raise in 2 years. You have $200 in a bank savings account you never use for real money. You consider that an accomplishment. Most at your level have zero. You have been trying to build a stash since you were 22. You are now 31. Every time you get close, something breaks. A fight over territory or a hospital visit the crew did not cover. The stash dies first in an emergency or bust. You have $18,000 in unpaid legal fees from arrests and $6,000 in credit card debt. You make minimum payments. Your tax refund is the only time you see more than $500 in the legitimate account, and you have already spent it on brakes or a dentist. Studies show street-level operators average around $700 a month after costs and losses. The constant fear sits in your stomach. Every knock could be police or rivals. You sell what you can and keep a small piece because everyone else does. It never feels different. The next stage comes after years of not getting caught. You move larger quantities across cities and have a second phone only the crew knows. You make the equivalent of $62,000 a year after suppliers take their cut and bribes go out. After moving costs and seizures, you take home about $3,800 a month in cash spent carefully. You bought a small house for $280,000 with a loan from a relative who asks no questions. Your mortgage is $2,100 a month, paid through a property manager who thinks you are in sales. You have 2 cars with payments on paper. You have a child and daycare costs $1,400 a month paid in cash. Your partner works full-time for cover. You have $35,000 hidden in accounts and boxes you call your emergency fund. You also have $12,000 in credit card debt and pay more than minimum, but the debt stays the same. You take one vacation a year to a lake house or family where you can move cash quietly. Every month, you run the real numbers with one trusted person and come out a few hundred ahead. That margin separates you from the corner. A single betrayal or seizure and you are back. Research on distribution shows mid-level operators face constant pressure from law enforcement, and those above and below with losses to interdiction reaching 28 to 40% on some routes. The next level arrives when you stop handling product and manage the people who do. You make the equivalent of $180,000 a year from your cut of several streams. Your partner makes another $95,000 on paper from a front business. Combined, that is $275,000 before cleaning. You live in a suburb people have heard of. Your house cost $650,000 with 4 bedrooms and a basement for meetings. You have 2 sport utility vehicles leased through companies that ask few questions. Your kids are in private school or the best public in the county. You pay in tuition or high property taxes. You have 280,000 across visible and hidden accounts. A brokerage holds another 90,000 routed through clean businesses. You max contributions where possible. Your advisor says you are on track for several million by 62. You take 2 vacations a year to real places. You fly economy with extra legroom and always carry small cash. You drink $22 wine and eat at places with $40 entrees. You check the second phone at 10 p.m. and take calls during your child's soccer games. You have not taken more than 10 consecutive days off in 5 years. You earn the equivalent of 275,000, yet run a tight budget. The mortgage is 4,000 a month and private school 28,000 a year. The lifestyle pulls everything down while the operation needs constant attention. You cross into the range where your annual take exceeds 500,000. You are a regional coordinator or the one who structures larger frauds or runs digital schemes. You crossed that line 3 years ago. You live in a house that cost 1.4 million in a neighborhood with strict rules you follow to avoid attention. Your mortgage is 7,000 a month. Property taxes are 2,000. Utilities are 800. Your visible lifestyle runs 30,000 a month before extras, and the invisible costs of security and payments push the real burn higher. You have a financial advisor who helps move money through legitimate channels, along with a tax strategist and an estate attorney. You own 3 rental properties that generate income and headaches and park cash and people. You have 1.8 million in retirement accounts, 600,000 in a taxable brokerage, and 400,000 in cash across locations. Your kids go to private school at 45,000 per child per year. 2 kids means 90,000 after tax, so you must earn about 150,000 just for tuition over 13 years each. You have a second property in good weather you told yourself was an investment. You rent it 8 weekends a year at 2,000 a weekend, but it does not cover costs. You keep it for the distance. You are generating wealth now. Your net worth grows faster than spending because operations scaled, but you are trapped. The moment you stop, the structure collapses. You are rich on paper and still one seizure or defection from panic. You crossed the first million in net worth last year. Your net worth is now 2.3 million, counting everything without drawing attention. The first million was celebrated privately. Nobody tells friends when they hit that number. You sat with a spreadsheet only you and one other see and felt relief more than happiness. Most of that money is not liquid. The house has 800,000 equity. Retirement accounts have 1.1 million. Brokerage has 350,000. Cash reserves of 50,000. You cannot spend net worth without destroying the machine. You have started thinking about your kids' inheritance. You set up layered trusts named guardians who know only part of the picture and written letters your attorney keeps. You wonder how much is too much and what your children will do with it. You are 47. Your body notices things like your back knees and a mole the dermatologist wants to check. You understand this money buys time, health, and options and silence. You have a trainer and nutritionist and see doctors before you are sick. These are investments in staying alive. You still work 55 hours a week plus worry time. The money did not teach you to stop. Research on Sutton's large sums shows high rates of guilt, paranoia, and self-destructive behavior. Lottery winners and athletes file bankruptcy at elevated rates. You see the same patterns. The next level arrives when a large transaction pushes your net worth to 12 million. Most came from an exit of one kind or another. The funds cleared through channels you built over years. You own your primary home outright and a second home in good weather. You lease a car because the tax treatment is better. You arrange private transports but on longer trips because the time savings is staggering and fewer people see you. You have a wealth manager for cleaned assets. Your money is spread across equities, private funds, real estate, and bonds through entities with no obvious link to you. Your annual return averages 7 to 9%. Your money earns about 1 million a year doing nothing in the visible world. Your kids are in elite private schools or universities paid in cash through clean channels. You have had conversations with them about money. Some went well, some did not. Your oldest bought a $90,000 car at 24 through a job you arranged. You are not sure if that is success or failure. You are on boards of legitimate companies and charities for visibility. You are asked for money constantly and developed a polite refusal that became reflexive. The real requests come through other channels. At this level, something changes that cannot be undone. Your wealth is now self-sustaining across generations if managed correctly. Your children will be wealthy whether they earn it or not. You no longer have a single manager. You have a small team of 2 or 3 who handle investments, taxes, estate planning, and real estate full time. They have offices in a building with your company's name. You pay them well and trust them carefully because they know everything. Your estate structure is elaborate with grantor trusts, dynasty trusts, and family limited partnerships. You have moved assets into vehicles that pass outside your estate to minimize tax and tracing. You have a philanthropic foundation that gives away $500,000 a year to education, medical research, and arts. It is run by your daughters who wanted something meaningful. She tells people she is in non-profit work. Technically true. You own 4 homes and arrange private transport regularly. You have a boat you use 6 weekends a year with a captain paid year-round. Your monthly burn is 150,000 in a slow month. You barely notice because the portfolio generates that easily. For the first time, the money produces more than you can spend. The curve flipped and compounding works so powerfully that wealth accumulates faster than you can deploy it. Money stops being a tool and becomes its own force. But the networks still need feeding, and the authorities never stop looking. You have 250 million. You are known in the circles that matter. Your name is on a building at your university through a donation and on a hospital wing. You sit at tables with senators and executives. You listen and nod and build relationships that take decades. Your family office has grown to 12 people. They manage a portfolio with direct investments in private companies. You sit on boards as a major shareholder and vote on directions that affect thousands of jobs. A company you invested in closed a factory last year. 400 people lost jobs. Your return was 38%. You think about it when you cannot sleep. Your children are adults. One works in the family office. One is a doctor who finds the work meaningful. One struggles with what to do. The money has not helped. You have read the research showing 70% of wealthy families lose it by the second generation and 90% by the third. You are determined to beat the odds, but are not sure you will. You think about what you leave besides money. Your father left 12,000 and a work ethic. You are leaving hundreds of millions plus problems he could not imagine. Studies of criminal families show the probability of serious offending rises sharply when both parents have records. reaching 67% for sons in some models. You did not build this. Your great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather did. The wealth is 1.5 billion in diversified holdings managed by a family office older than most constitutions. There are rules and traditions. There are cousins you see once a year at the compound. You do not particularly like them. You will share responsibilities for life. You were born into this. You attended the boarding school your father and grandfather attended. You went to one of 3 acceptable universities. You summered in the same house the family has owned for 4 generations. The portraits share your cheekbones. The silver has your great-grandmother's initials. You are a continuation, not a person. You sit on the family trust as a voting trustee. You attend quarterly meetings with siblings and cousins. You discuss asset allocation, new opportunities, and staff performance. You vote on distributions and foundation giving. You argue with your sister about selling a ranch in Wyoming no one visits. It loses $200,000 a year. She wants to keep it. Cousins side with her. The ranch stays. At this level, preserving the family is harder than preserving the wealth. Your children will inherit their share at 30. They have known since they were old enough to understand, and that knowledge changes their ambition, careers, and spouses. You made them work summer jobs and live on stipends. You are not sure it worked. The wealth is a gravitational field that bends everything. You feel responsible, not wealthy. You are the temporary steward of something that existed before you and will after. You sign documents your father signed. Your son will sign them too. You sit at the top of a $40 billion family trust. The wealth is so old, no one remembers how it started. There was a railroad or steel mill or bank or shipping concern or arrangements that moved goods and money in ways never entirely legal. The original business is gone. The money remains. It has outlived industries, wars, depressions, and revolutions. It has its own momentum. It compounds without effort. You are not the patriarch. The family is too large. There are 47 people in your generation alone. Hundreds across all generations. The trust supports them all. Some are productive, some are not. The trust pays for rehabs, divorces, failed business, and lawyers who clean scandals. You serve on the family council of 12 elected members. You meet monthly and vote on strategic direction. Your decisions touch thousands of employees at companies the trust owns and shape university. Endowments the family has given to for a century. Your name appears in history books. Your ancestors do. Your descendants will. You attended the right schools and knew the right people. You married someone from an old family. Prenuptial agreements are standard. Your children will attend the same schools and marry people who sign prenups. The system protects itself. You have no financial worries. Your great-great-grandchildren will never have them if the trust is managed competently. You should feel free. You do not. You feel watched. Every public event is a performance. Every comment could become a headline. Every mistake is a family mistake. You cannot buy a car without notice. You cannot donate without a reporter calling. Your teenage son made a comment that went viral. The public relations firm on retainers, since before you were born, handled it. You have wondered what it would be like to be ordinary. There is no exit. You cannot give the money away. Trustees have duties that prevent it. You cannot step outside the family. Your friends are other heirs. Your vacations are with other heirs. You know almost nobody who worked a shift. You are the most insulated yet most visible. You have more power than governors, but less privacy than celebrities. You are expected to give speeches. lead the foundation, and continue. That word sits heavy. Continue. Somewhere in a small apartment, a young person checks the hidden cash at 6 a.m. They have $247 until the next drop. They have no idea you exist. Their life and yours are connected by the same system. They are at the bottom. You are at the top. The distance is measured in generations and layers, not dollars. Neither chose the starting line. Neither is entirely free. The cycle continues. The structures that let one live without money worries are the same that keep another counting what little remains at dawn. The money moves, the people change, the pattern holds.